Hey guys, welcome to this video. Too often, people talk about how they became a millionaire overnight. However, there's a lack of mention on practices or habits exhibited by these millionaires and how it helped them to get to being a millionaire in the first place. So today, I'll be talking about 7 of these practices that I practice and I believe will help amplify your wealth. So, let's start with the first one, which is being frugal and avoiding lifestyle creep. This is incredibly important, and I believe you should be avoiding large expenses that's depreciating in value. It's incredible when you see the stats that 61% of the US population actually lives from paycheck to paycheck. It's very easy to swipe your credit card and small amounts accumulate. Then at the end of the month, you see a daunting number of how much you have to pay on your statement. I used to have a $3,000 credit card debt and I have no idea where it came from. I actually learned my poor spending habits by tracking down my finances and jotting down where my expenses were. It really did help, even though it may sound restrictive. The tracker was kind of like a constant reminder on whether if I need to spend for something. Another thing that helped me is having the mindset of paying myself first. And in this case, I mean my future self. I imagine that if I save this money, I would be putting it into savings, investments, or emergency funds so I could work one less day or enjoy one more vacation down the road. This was incredible because now I'll be starting my monthly budgeting by putting away money first for savings, and then I decide how I want to spend with the rest of them. A good gauge would be having a 50-30-20 rule. What that means is 50% into necessities, 30% into what you want, and 20% into saving. So you start with that 20%. If this is a little bit difficult in the beginning, you can try with 60-30-10% rule. I also doubted whether if this method was too restrictive. However, it helped me understand where all my money went, and coincidentally, it helped me build financial discipline. Next, shifting our gears a little bit, I want to talk about the mindset of keeping our lifestyle in check. An interesting concept here is called delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is actually practiced by many successful individuals from one form to another. And standard definition of this is to delay the impulse for an immediate reward so that you will be having a more favorable reward at a later time. So every time before you make your purchase, ask yourself whether if you need this or you just want it. And instead of taking a loan or maybe buying a fancy clothing, maybe think about how you could save this money, compound it, so you could buy your dream house down the road. Not only does this practice help you save, it also helps you build patience, perseverance during financial downturns. This mindset has helped me so much. Previously, I would have the impulse of buying the latest iPhone or games that I barely touch. Now I'm much more forward-looking with my money and I have built my patience. It's important to stay here that wealth does not come overnight. It's important to realize that it takes time and effort. One study has shown that for saver investors, it generally takes on average 32 years to become a millionaire, and for big company climbers, it takes 22, whereas for entrepreneurs, it will be around 12. However, you should not go overboard with the idea of delayed gratification or frugality. According to the famous investor Warren Buffett, he has said that you don't save by not going to a movie. There's a lot to be said about saving when it comes to denying yourself enjoyment. I still go out, watch movies, have a beer or two with friends, but I don't go out and party every day. I enjoy thinking about how I could potentially retire early and travel around the world. Now, I want to talk about producing and creating rather than consuming and entertainment. It's cliche to talk about learning and reading because I believe that's the first step for any successful person to do. I want to take a step further and talk about practicing that. We are all born into a society where consuming is the norm. The world does not want us to succeed. In fact, they probably want us to fail. Why, you ask? Because if you look at all the successful people out there, they are doing something out of the ordinary. They don't follow rules and they behave differently than what the world wants them to. If you want to switch to the other side and become financially free, you have to change your mindset. You're probably watching this video because you're sick and tired of your same old routine, or perhaps you're not where you want in life. You're probably working for money and chasing after someone else's dream. Spend some of your earlier time doing research on skills that are in demand. There are tons of courses that's out there that's free, and look for ones that are project-based, ones that you can perhaps tweak and put it onto your portfolio. Then you can be showcasing them and use that to your advantage for your next employment. Now I want to talk about choosing your friends wisely or networking. As the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. Choosing your friends wisely does not mean that you choose them based on financial statements. You can make a point to learn from anyone, including those that are poor or the ones that make millions of dollars. Now, if you want to become an entrepreneur or if you want to be financially free, you should learn from those that are either in the same trajectory as you, or you should learn from those that have already achieved it. The point here is not to brag or listen to any brags. Many people, including myself, are too afraid to ask rich people how they were able to get there or how they actually make the money. We often take it for granted that it's too difficult to start. However, being financially free always takes effort, but is not as difficult as we think. If you watch the crypto space, then you'll see that there's always contradicting experts. One talking about how the market is going to crash, the other talking about how crypto is going to moon the next day. It's important to understand that being smart means you should listen to both sides. Unfortunately, most people only listen to the side where the market is crashing, and they end up not doing anything at all. Expand your network and start reading a few books such as How to Win Friends or Influence People. Sooner rather than later, you'll realize how your mindset has already changed. You'll begin to see more opportunities that you have never thought of before. I want to talk about the important idea of mastering a formula and constantly look for another one. We're so bombarded by information in our generation that it's easy to be distracted. I like what Robert Kiyosaki has said in his Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm quoting him here. You become what you learn. If you study cooking, then you tend to do cooking. If you study how to be financially free, then you're probably going to do things that's going to increase your finances. Hence, if you want to do something, then you need to study for something related to it as well. Study to change your current formula of making money. Instead of waking up every day and doing the same routine over and over again to earn money, look for a more advanced recipe. For example, for the entirety of last year, I deep dived into the blockchain space and I looked at different projects and white papers. And I don't just mean I invested in Bitcoins and different altcoins. I looked into technical projects that are aimed for scalability of the crypto space, and I looked for projects that are in the NFT and gaming space. I learned how to build my own applications and actually build a few so I could unlock different potentials. And from this, I learned so many different opportunities that I did not see before. I suggest everyone to not be distracted and master a formula. And once you have done so, look for another one. I hear often from people that they want to create a company, but they have no idea what to do. If you master a formula, then you'll start to see gaps and problems and that you can perhaps contribute to. Then this is a great way for you to start a business. Along the line of too much information, my next point is to plan ahead. I realize that time is the most valuable asset. However, it is also the most limited. Oftentimes, I have so much things that I want to do, but I don't have time to do it all. Planning ahead could mean many things, and it will help you focus and balance. One of the first strategies that I want to talk about is blocking out your calendars and do something called time boxing. Time boxing is part of Agile, and it simply means to block a chunk of your time for a specific task. In this case, you'll be avoiding unnecessary usage of your time, as well as a reminder to do things that perhaps you don't even want to do. This has really helped me understand when I'm wasting my time or perhaps I have extra time to do something else. Another aspect that I practice is creating smaller milestones. Whether if it's in life, my finances, or maybe even my projects, I create smaller milestones so I have something more tangible to look forward to. It brings a sense of self-satisfaction. And in these cases, I am more motivated to learn or to save when trying to meet these smaller milestones. I believe every millionaire agrees that time is one of the most valuable assets. And there's many different techniques out there that can help you to be more productive. I suggest to do more research and find a system that works for you, but more importantly is to be consistent with the system that you have set up. Although this might be one of the most talked about habits in countless areas, I cannot stress it enough. And it is about having a growth mindset. What that means is that believing that you can achieve something through dedication and hard work. Take a pause and think about a time where you were interested in something, but you stopped or you didn't even start because you didn't believe that you could do it. Studies have shown that our brain is much more malleable than we know. It is like a gateway. If you believe that you can achieve something, then you're much more likely to succeed. I have a talented friend comes from an arts degree. He's actually a vocalist in a band and he did many world tours. Somewhere down the line, he wanted to keep the music as part of his hobby instead, and he wanted to switch career into programming. He studied this program and he saw many people coming from science background or even math or computer science background where they are much more talented. However, he didn't give up. He developed a growth mindset. Even though he was very frustrated with some of the coursework, he kept attending lectures, kept doing these tasks, projects, and assignments. Eventually, he told me that things did connect after a few weeks or a few months, and now he is a very successful programmer in Visa. I also failed many times in my search for a side hustle. I did many things, including dropshipping, trading, investing, digital marketing, cryptocurrency, and many, many more. If I actually stopped on my first one or two failures, I would have been stuck at the very beginning. Thinking back, I realized that I learned the most from my failures. I learned what not to do, and more importantly, what I need to learn. Having a growth mindset and embracing failure is part of being a millionaire. From a scientific point of view, it reduces stress, burnout rate, and chances of depression and anxiety. And I also believe it helps to build more confidence. So these are the 7 habits that I practice and I think is making a huge impact in my life. Although some of these habits may be practiced by non-millionaires, it is practiced in a more consistent and rigorous manner by millionaires. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has sparked some interest. If you like the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time.